All right. So, welcome to day one of this free workshop called Blissfully Badass. This is just all about embodying things like self-love, self-empowerment, to be more badass. And then on day three, we'll talk about manifestation and creating and having the life that you desire. So today we're going to start with self-love, and this is really a foundational component of what I teach and a lot about what I talk about in my day to day. So let's just start with what actually is self-love. It kind of gets thrown around a lot, like, oh yeah, love yourself. Yes, but like how and what does that actually mean? So self-love is like loving who you are, no matter what others think of you. It's related to your authenticity. When you love yourself, it doesn't matter what other people think because you love yourself. It's like when you have a friend, like they're your friend because they're awesome and you really enjoy them. It doesn't matter what other people think. So think about that with your approach to yourself. It's also being able to speak your truth no matter how hard it is for other people to hear. And again, when you love yourself and you're really secure in yourself, then speaking your truth becomes a lot easier. And all of these things tie into just living in the trueness of yourself and being unapologetic for who you are. But that takes practice. All of that sounds really good, but that does take practice. You have to every day practice self love, just like you would practice loving a partner or loving your friend. And just like you trust a friend that you create a relationship with, you also learn to trust yourself. So, in developing a relationship with yourself, loving yourself, you then get to trust yourself. And what that means is being able to do what your soul calls you to do, no matter what other people to say about it. And you're able to make decisions on your own life based on what your body is telling you is authentically right. This is when you can tap into your own self authority and intuition. And like I mentioned, this self love, it goes hand in hand with authenticity. They're highly related to each other. So, what first, before you ever get to love yourself, you actually have to like yourself. And before you like yourself, you have to know yourself. And from there, when you can like, love, and at the start know yourself, then you become really stable with who you are and within yourself. And again, the opinions of other people don't matter. Like when I love myself so much and I like who I am and I know exactly who I am, I don't give a fuck what other people are thinking because it doesn't matter if they like me because I like me. So, as I mentioned, you have to love yourself, but first like yourself and first know yourself. So, there's a number of things that you can do to start understanding who the hell am I? You know, identity work, really figuring out what your habits are. And I'm not talking about like, oh, hey, this is my occupation and like, oh, I'm a father or I really love my friends. No, like really, who are you? And be bold enough to be honest with yourself about it. What are your habits? Do you get up and go to the gym in the morning like you want to? Do you like coffee or tea? What kind of food do you like? What kind of music do you listen to? How do you speak to yourself? What time do you go to bed? It's all of these little tiny things that really make up who you are. And when you start to figure out, well, who am I? What are these little things that make me? That's when you can start to like yourself. Because you can't like something if you don't know something. It's really a step-by-step process. I just can't say, well, yeah, I love so and so. Well, why? Oh, well, because I know that they do this and they do that. Or I love this person because we have similar habits, we have similar lifestyles, and all of those little things build up why I like somebody else. And so we have to be able to do that with ourselves. And then from there, you can ask yourself, well, do I like that person? And if you don't, you can change that. If you do, amazing, great. You can only get better. And if you don't, you are always in control. You always have the power to make a new decision, make a lifestyle change, do things differently so that you can become somebody that you like. So if you hate the fact that you always sleep in and you can just continue to make excuses for yourself, are you gonna ever like that person? You're gonna just, well, I can't get out of bed. I'm just gonna make excuses and I hate that about myself and I can't. When in reality, you can. You can always make a new decision. You can always make a shift, pivot, or change. It doesn't mean it's easy. Forming new habits isn't always easy, but it gets easier as you continue to do that. So if getting up and going to the gym is something that you want to do, but you have to get up 2 hours earlier than you normally would, well, maybe you start doing that just a few times a week. Or perhaps you start getting up an hour earlier first and then bump it up to 2 hours earlier. Oftentimes people think, well, I want to make this big change. I want to be the person who gets up at 5 in the morning and goes to the gym and starts their day like that. But they don't even have a workout routine at all. So they're trying to make a leap that is too big. That's really hard on your brain and your body. We are not wired for that. So that's why people with New Year's resolutions just fall off and they fail. They never actually achieve whatever that resolution was because they're making too big of a leap. They're trying to do too much at once. You cannot get to the top of a ladder by jumping from the first rung to the last. You have to go step by step by step, one rung at a time. And that is okay. And it doesn't matter how big or small the spaces in between the rungs are, as long as you're taking those steps towards the top. So if you know, okay, I want to get up at 5 in the morning and go to the gym, but I can't. I'm getting up at 10 right now. Well, getting up at 5 in the morning is going to be too big of a jump. So maybe you just have to, get up a half an hour earlier, then maybe an hour earlier and do it step by step by step. And maybe going to the gym 7 days a week is just crazy talk. Also not good. Take a rest day. But if you are trying to go for too much, it's going to be too much on your nervous system and it's going to freak out and you're not going to be able to handle it. So maybe you need to start with just a couple days at a time. And this goes for any habit. Yes, there are things that you can just start and stop cold turkey, but that's not always the case. So developing these good habits, once you realize, hey, there's this thing about myself that I've been able to be honest with myself about. That's a big one. Actually being able to be honest with yourself enough to say, there is this thing that I am doing and I'm not happy about it. And I accept it, I recognize it, and now I'm going to change it. That's huge. A lot of people won't even allow themselves to look at that. But anytime you want to make positive changes in your life, that requires radical self-honesty. And if we go back to the trust component, the self-trust that is a component of self-love, think about any relationship in your life, whether it's romantic, platonic, familial. You don't trust somebody the same if you don't know if they're honest with you or not. You don't trust somebody if you have to question what they're telling you, or if it feels like they're omitting information, or they're not willing to have hard conversations. You don't trust them as much as somebody that you can really get in there with and have the hard conversations and be open and vulnerable. That is when you can really develop trust and relationship with other people. It's the same with us. So be honest with yourself as you evaluate who am I? And do I like that person? Hey, guess what, guys? Sweets are my vice, and I definitely have way too many of them. And that is something that at times, it ebbs and flows. And I have to be honest with myself and say, yeah, when I was home for Christmas with my mom, I had way too many Christmas cookies, like for sure. And that had a direct impact on how I feel, on my body composition, and all of that. So I had to say to myself, well, yeah, sugar is an addiction. I could easily be like, well, it's hard and I can't just cut it out now. Or I could be honest with myself and say, yeah, you did it again. Let's get back on track and go that route and then feel better. And that's another piece of it. When you make positive changes, you feel positive effects in the future. You are in the current moment, you are making decisions that affect the next version of you. So you have a relationship with the next version of yourself. So you want to be making decisions right now that are going to support future you. You can ask yourself, am I taking care of my future self? Do I love my future self? Do you ever look back and say, oh yeah, past me got me. I love this. Like, thank God I meal prepped earlier in the week because the end of the week got crazy. And now I have meals prepared for myself. Like this is great. Like Friday is a breeze because on Monday I took care of myself. And that's another piece of this, which is self-love and self-care going hand in hand. Caring for yourself the way you would care for a loved one. Making sure you eat, making sure you sleep. Are you taking time to rest and recover? The things you check in on your friends about, things that you are telling your friends, like, yo, dude, like you haven't eaten all day. Let's go get lunch right now. These are things that you have to check in with yourself about and see, like, am I actually taking care of myself? Because so many people don't. And I think as athletes, especially as jujitsu athletes, we are particularly in tune with our bodies, which is great. And we know that we need fuel in order to have training sessions. But ask yourself, is this the right fuel? Am I 80% of the time fueling myself with the right nutrition? And actually take stock of it, you know? One big one for all of the jujitsu athletes out there is taking a rest day. That one, I'm so guilty of that. There's pressure from our teammates. There's pressure to get better all the time. There's pressure because you know everybody else is there and you might have FOMO. So we want to be there all the time as much as possible. But we can't do this for a really long time if we never take a day to give our bodies a chance to catch up. We do it with our phones. Your phone probably gets plugged in every night to recharge. And sure, you're going to bed, you're sleeping, but you still need like at least a day to allow your body to catch up to what you're putting it through. So eating might not be something that you have an issue with, but maybe taking a rest day or doing something for your recovery, like getting a massage or going to the sauna or finding a hot tub, like taking care of your body and doing it from a place of knowing that the more you take care of yourself, the higher you can perform in the long run. So that's something, especially any jujitsu athletes out there, keep that in mind because I think collectively, as a group of people in this world, we are particularly bad at it. Now, another thing that can really impact the way we love ourselves, and again, we know we like, and that becomes love. Another thing is the way we talk to ourselves. How are you talking to yourself? Like, are you constantly criticizing yourself? Are you saying nice things to yourself? Really become aware of the dialogue that you have internally because it makes a big difference. Again, going back to the friend reference, I am not going to be friends with somebody who is constantly putting me down. If I have a friend who is constantly telling me that I suck and I can't do anything right and what a piece of shit I am because I missed a gym session this week, I'm not going to be friends with that person. We easily label that as negativity, toxic behavior, whatever the case may be. We'll cut those people out because we don't want that. We want to be around the people who are advocating for us. They're inspiring us. They are pushing us to be the best version of ourselves. Now take a look at how you're talking to yourself in your head. What are you saying? Are you the critic? Are you putting yourself down? You intended to get up to go to the gym in the morning and you didn't go. You slept in. You missed your alarm. Whatever happened. Do you turn around and say, damn it, I fucking suck. I should have gotten up. What, you're so lazy. You did it again. Or can you look at it from a place of compassion and grace and say, you know what? If I slept through my alarm, I really needed the sleep. And I'm grateful that I got sleep because I needed it. And now I can have a better day. And I'm going to get up tomorrow. I'm going to wake up for my alarm and I'm going to attack this gym session. But today wasn't my day. And that's just one example. You know, it can come down to silly things like you make a little mistake. Do you constantly go, Come on, stupid. Our subconscious is always listening to what we're telling it. So if you're constantly in those little moments where you drop something on the floor and you call yourself stupid, those little moments are being heard and recorded and stored by your subconscious. And the subconscious is handling 95% of what you do. So what you say to yourself and what your subconscious is hearing really matters. Way more than people give it credit for. And all of this stuff, especially the inner dialogue stuff here, this ties into what we're going to talk about tomorrow and Thursday with the personal empowerment and manifestation. The way you talk to yourself matters on so many levels. So many levels. If you can speak to yourself like you would talk to your best friend, you are going to feel more happy and optimistic than if you talk to yourself like the stupid kid in class you don't like. You want to be your own best friend. You want to have like a little superhero on your shoulder, always in your corner, always rooting for you. That is what your internal dialogue should be. You know, are you complimenting yourself? When you look in a mirror, are you self-critical or are you giving yourself compliments? Are you acknowledging yourself? You know, maybe you're on a weight loss journey and you're not at the goal that you want to be at, but you're halfway there. You see progress. So you can either look at that and say, wow, I'm doing really good. I look so much better than I used to. I'm so proud of myself. Or you can pick, wow, I still have so far to go and I still look like shit. And I'm not anywhere where I want to be. This sucks. Which one feels better? Pick the better feeling internal dialogue. Be the person who is on your own team and advocating for yourself all the time. And there's so much that we can get into with this. And again, this storytelling, internal dialogue component just has so many layers to it and impacts so much of what we do. So there's so much to get into with that. And that's just a little taste. But you want, and if you find yourself at a point where you're not speaking kindly to yourself, or if you just want to improve what that is, the first step is to acknowledge it, right? Like we need to be aware of how we're talking to ourselves. Awareness is the first step. You know, catch yourself every time you're saying something mean. And then once you've acknowledged it, then it comes time to flip it. So, you know, the sleeping in and sleeping through your alarm example. Again, you can say, oh my God, I'm so lazy. I do this all the time. I can never get out of bed. What the fuck? I suck. Oh, I just realized I was talking meanly to myself. Okay, what can I say instead? Hey, you're gonna have a good day now because you got some extra sleep. Good job. Like giving yourself grace, you know, like I needed that sleep. I'm grateful I got some sleep. Okay. And when you start to reframe that, you're rewiring your brain. And as you continue to do that and practice it, it becomes second nature. So you can completely change that inner dialogue just with a few simple steps. And it starts with awareness. And again, that ties into knowing yourself and being able to look at yourself and say, okay, do I like that thing about myself? Do I like that I'm saying these mean things? No, I don't. Wouldn't want to be friends with that person. Okay, let me be nicer. So take that all into consideration as you bring more self-love into your life. And if you don't love yourself, how can you expect other people to love you? You know, this isn't something that needs to be external. Yes, it feels amazing when other people love us, but you don't want to have to rely on that coming from other people. So when you can bring that into yourself first, when you can love yourself first, one, you don't need it from anybody else. You're now more powerful. And two, you are going to get more of it from everyone around you. You're exuding this just like radiance about you when you really do embody your own essence. And again, you're authentic. How many times have you met somebody, you're like, wow, they're really authentic. I really like them. Like, they don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. They're so cool. Like, I want to be more like that. You can. You can be exactly who you want to be. You can start to bring more love into your life through yourself. And therefore, you'll have more confidence. So it'll be easier to be authentic. You'll like yourself. You'll love yourself. You're like, yeah, cool. I don't give a fuck either. Yeah, I'm that guy that I was admiring. Awesome. And quick little pro tip, a way to bring in more confidence to yourself is reading a list of things that you're good at or qualities about yourself that you like. So that's a quick little exercise that you can do. It's just make a list of things you like about yourself. If you really want to push it, make this list as long as possible. Don't limit yourself. I don't want you to just make a list of 5. Go as far as you can. If you can fill 3 pages in a journal, incredible. If you can't, also cool. You're starting to acknowledge the good things about yourself. And once you do that, you're going to start to see more and more are going to come in, or you're going to make those changes so that you can have more things in your life that you like, love, and appreciate. So make a list of things you like about yourself. Make it as long as you possibly can. And then from there, pick a list of like 6 and just keep them with you. Put them in your phone, write notes, write a note in your phone, write a note on a piece of paper, keep it with you so you can refer back to it in moments where you need a little bit more confidence. And once you have that, it's okay, cool. Like, now I feel better. And you're going to start to be more optimistic and smile more and be more positive. I have a whole list of self-love practices as examples of things you can do just to give yourself a little bit of love. So I'll go through those. I'm also going to send them out in an email. Before I do that, know that you deserve to receive love, most of all from yourself. And when you get that love from yourself, it's going to follow tenfold from the people around you. And you are worthy of this love just because you exist here on the planet. So, as I said, to bring more love into your life, I'm just going to quickly go through this list of I don't even know how many things. And these are just some examples. This is not all inclusive. This is just to get you started. Okay, Alex, thank you for popping on. So glad that you could join us here. I'm going to send out the recording so that you can watch it later, but it was really nice to have you here. And maybe we'll see you either tomorrow or Thursday as well. Okay, so as I was saying, a list of self-love practices here. We already kind of touched on a couple of these. but one is listening to your body. So, hey, jujitsu athletes, tap in, tune in, feel into yourself. What do I need? Do I need a rest day? Do I need to go a little bit light today? Am I taking it too hard? Like, what's going on? Like, actually listening to your body. 2, set boundaries. Learn to say no to yourself, to other people. Put on your favorite playlist. Bring in some music that makes you feel good. Sing and dance. Go for a walk. Take a bath. Also, another really great one for jiu-jitsu athletes. Throw some Epsom salt in there. And if you are really feeling good, make it a special moment. Like, it's not just any bath. Make it special. Throw essential oils in there, light a candle, put on some music, throw rose petals in there. Be a bougie bitch if you want. There's a lot of, and you can do that. Like, I say this about the bath, but you can do this with a lot of things, making it special. Like, if you really wanted to impress a new love interest, what are some things you would do? Do that for yourself. Okay. So you could read a book, you can work out, stick to promises that you make yourself, put on an outfit that makes you feel good, beautiful, confident. For the ladies, just do your makeup. You don't even have to go anywhere. Just do your makeup. Like, if that makes you feel beautiful, do it. Take yourself on a date. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It can just be for coffee, or have a date night in. Cook yourself a nice dinner. Again, make it special. Get a massage, get a facial, make time for yourself to meditate or journal. And these are 2 things that I'm going to be talking about for the next 2 days. They are very important components of my life. I swear by them. They are amazing. Meditate, journal, do it. Having a daily gratitude practice, another really powerful thing to do. And again, we're going to talk about that more. Buy yourself flowers, acknowledge when you do good things, celebrate everything, make time for the things that bring you joy, just move your body and get out in nature. So those are just a few, well, more than a few. That's a number of examples of things that you can do to bring more love into your life. So with that, I would love to hear if there's any questions, comments, anything here. Does this all make sense? Give me a little thumbs up if we make sense here. Are we feeling good? Yeah, we got thumbs up. Awesome. So I want all of you to love yourselves and to feel all of that coming from within you, so you don't need it from other people, and you can learn to really like the person that you are, so you don't give a fuck about what anybody else thinks, and you learn to trust yourself more and just tap into your intuition so that you can make decisions that are best for you, and you can be more authentic in everything that you do. Oh, Sarge, thank you so much. Always a badass. Love to hear it. I just want everyone else to be able to access the badass that's within them, because we all have a badass inside of us and it's accessible. It's just knowing how to get there. Everybody is badass in their own right, in their own way, whether it's literally being a fighter, or if you're a badass business person, or if you're a badass father. There is something badass about what everybody does. So I appreciate you being here. Looking forward to seeing you on the next calls. If anything comes up, shoot me an email, send me a message. Would love to hear it. And I will see you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Absolutely. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too. So good to see you this evening.
Good seeing you too.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.